Hey everyone, it is Kiki. We are about to watch Tericho's theory video on the Chapter 4 monster from Poppy Playtime. Now, I've already done a reaction on the trailer itself, but now I'm going to do a reaction of his video. I've done a couple of reactions to Tericho's video, but I just want to make it clear again. If Tericho wants me to take down this video, I will straight away. I'm not trying to steal his content. I'm doing a reaction to it, and I want to give my own thoughts and opinions on it. But this is Tericho's video. I'm going to have his channel linked down in the description. Check out all his Poppy Playtime theories because they are so good. He's one of my favorite theorists around. Also, check out his Little Nightmares series. He's the reason I really got into Little Nightmares. So definitely go and check him out. But we're going to do a reaction video for him today and try to see what his opinion is on this new sheep villain smiling critter thing. Now, just from his thumbnail, he thinks Boxy Boo's heavily involved because of this blue, red, and gold square we keep seeing everywhere, which I can see it. He's got all those colours, and it is a box. It is the right colours, like the gold in the middle for the star, the blue is the box, and then red is him. But let's see what he has to say about it. I will be pausing throughout the video to give my own opinion, but if you want to watch his full video, I will have it linked down in the description.
So I'm sure you've already seen the Poppy Playtime update. We finally have a release date for Chapter 4. It's coming in January, and as is tradition, we've been given our first teaser trailer to whet our appetites. Yes, pun intended. But while everyone is scrambling to break down a teaser trailer, they all seem to be missing the hidden stuff. Not only are there a bunch of hidden details in this trailer, but I also think this teaser has just given us the biggest clue about the Chapter 4 antagonist. Or should I say, antagonists. Now first let's address the elephant or sheep in the room.
We've already had an elephant,
Tericho. The
Tericho.
we see in the teaser is confirmed to be a reference to Sheep Rampage, but it will most likely appear in the game as well.
I said that in my theory that I just did. I hadn't seen anything else on it. I thought I saw a video about it a couple of months ago. But yes, the sheep is a cameo or a tribute to Sheep Rampage. I thought as much, but that was just me speculating.
That's pretty cool, but I don't think this will be the Chapter 4 main antagonist.
No.
Historically, the teaser trailers for Poppy Playtime have teased the main villain, but not outright shown them. We only saw Mommy's hand in the Chapter 2 teaser, and the gas mask was our first clue to Catnap in the Chapter 3 teaser. The second teaser for Chapter 3 also only showed a part of Catnap. Now I think this teaser trailer is absolutely hinting towards the main antagonist of Chapter 4, and that comes in this box over here. Now this symbol has been shown up a bunch of times before, we just haven't really noticed it. We can see it on the Steam page for Chapter 4 and in this trailer, but it was also shown off in this image, as well as in several of the artworks created by Amber. Now this could have a number of meanings, but I think there is a really obvious one. This symbol shows 3 squares, or boxes, nested within each other. Now at this point it's clear that the area we are going to in Chapter 4 is the prison, something I theorized a good while ago.
I said in my video that I do think it is a prison of some kind, there's cell blocks, it is very contained, but I also said in my theory that I think, although yes, it is a toy factory, ultimately the whole factory itself is a prison for these toys. I think this section, or at least the one in this image, is more to do with it's more Outlast for me, it's more asylum-y, it's more I think this is where all the experiments went down, is actually in here. It's, if we continue from Chapter 3 where we were getting lowered on that big elevator, we're going beneath the factory. It's underground, it's hidden. It'd be where they'd have all their secrets and all the experiments that, were definitely not FDA approved. But these cells specifically are very, this doesn't give prison vibes. If this was more prison-y, I'd say this is solitary confinement. The way that there's not even a way for them to look out of the cells. Playcare, where Dog Day was, absolutely. Cells, prison, that was 100%. Here, I think this is more the experiment facility. Like, this is where the scientists did their work.
We already knew that Playtime Co. had holding cells. We hear that the prototype 1006 was held in one, and we even got to see this area in the Bron VHS tape. Now it's confirmed that we're going to visit the area these cells are located. This symbol could be a reference to the layers of security. The red wings being the outer layer, the blue the middle, and the gold being the deepest layer of security. Knowing that Playtime Co. had holding cells like this massively implies that this area is where the most dangerous experiments were kept. But these colours might have a much more obvious meaning. These three colours are the Playtime Co. main colour scheme, showing up in many of the toys and art designs of the company. Both the player and Huggy Wuggy follow this colour scheme, for example. But the way it's laid out like this matches one toy in particular, Boxy Boo. Now this would be really interesting since Boxy is a very important character to the story, but so far we haven't seen him in the main game, aside from in the Hour of Joy VHS tape. But if you think back to the story so far videos that teased this teaser, yes, a tease to a teaser trailer, those were all narrated by none other than Harley Sawyer. Now in a complete coincidence, Fake Fox Not Real just made a theory about this, but it's one that I also agree with. There is a very good chance that Harley Sawyer is still alive. In Fox's theory, she talks about the idea that Harley underwent the transfer process himself. We know that in Chapter 3, Harley was described as being
out, let's say,
by Laith Pierre, not fired, out. This ties into his rant in Project Playtime about wanting to beat the weakness of flesh. Harley wanted to pursue immortality. We then hear him narrate the story so far videos as if he was watching our every move. He ended the last one by saying we were walking into a trap, like lambs to the slaughter. That in itself was a cheeky little hint.
Didn't even
the
think of
sheep
that,
camp. But this massively implies that Sawyer is going to be showing up in this chapter, likely in some doll or experiment form.
See, this, I can agree with that as far as I don't think Harley Sawyer's dead. And I don't think Laith Pierre is dead. Like, that's... Those two people, in my mind, are quite obviously still alive. Laith Pierre just... The fact that he was able to get, like, for Project Playtime, like, the extraction unit or whatever, he'd have to be alive to do that. This is after the factory's been taken over. Like, he would have... Like, he can't orchestrate that from the afterlife. Harley Sawyer was one that was always up in the air for me, but... Okay. But... He is conniving. I don't think he was, like, so far involved that he's like, I know that this is going to happen, so I'm going to get out of here. But I think he was involved enough to have fail-safes in place.
If this chapter's main villain is going to be Harley Sawyer, then of course this would be the chapter that we would see Boxy Boo. Boxy was, after all, Harley's pride and joy. He was the first successful Bigger Body in the Bigger Bodies initiative, Harley's initiative. And Harley treated him with a lot of affection, in his own twisted sort of way.
You have proven my Bigger Bodies initiative a success. Many doors have opened today, thanks to you.
But there is even more evidence that we will see Boxy this chapter. Not only have Mob mentioned a return...
This looks like a generator, so maybe we're going to have to power generators as we go. I did reverse it a little bit, but yeah, that looks like a generator of some kind. This is some Dead by Daylight gameplay now.
But there is even more evidence that we will see Boxy this chapter. Not only have Mob mentioned a returning character, but we have been given several huge clues that now tie into this teaser trailer. In Bron's VHS, we see Boxy was the one that tried to kill Bron. The Bron who was originally Thomas Clark. Thomas was the staff member that 1006 brought Theodore Gramble to after his accident. Think about what that means. 1006 and Harley have been shown to be adversaries. 1006 trusted Thomas, and then Thomas ended up being turned into Bron and attacked by Boxy, who we have strong evidence is loyal to Sawyer. We've seen that Sawyer has used Boxy to get rid of staff he doesn't like before, so I think this was a huge clue that Boxy was quite literally trying to silence Thomas. But the smoking gun for this theory comes from a huge clue in the Hour of Joy VHS. In this teaser we see piles of dead toys alongside sealed trash bags, the implication being that this is where the trash of Playtime Co. was sent, perhaps before awaiting incineration. But look again in the Hour of Joy VHS. Boxy appears to be attacking construction workers. That in itself is a clue that Boxy was in the lower levels of the factory.
Yeah.
But right behind him, bags of trash. I think this is our biggest clue yet that Boxy lives in this area.
I don't know, I kind of always felt that that was like people's bodies kind of piled up, but I can also understand why he'd say it was trash and why, like, it doesn't really make sense for their bodies to be piled up like that. But yeah, I do agree that Boxy doesn't live upstairs like the others. He was tucked away.
Bags of trash. I think this is our biggest clue yet, that Boxy lives in this area, and I am more convinced than ever that we will see him in Chapter 4. We even see a Boxy head right next to this box, a massive clue. But there is still plenty more hidden details in this trailer. Speaking of those piles of trash, they mostly seem to be dead toys, and at first glance there doesn't really seem to be anything suspicious about them. But this teaser actually continues several running themes now from previous chapters. Every teaser trailer so far has had a dead Huggy in the middle of it. Either Mob are really trying to tell me that Huggy is dead, or this is just another subtle clue. This could be seen as a little running joke, and this teaser follows the same pattern, although this one's a little bit more hidden. But looking even closer, we can see that two of the toys in these piles of trash are actually moving. Of course, they just had to be two Huggy Wuggies. Now, before you get too excited, I would love to say that these are clues that
Oh,
Huggy
hang on, I saw this
Huggies.
like
Now,
arm.
before you get too
around here.
excited, I would love to say
Yeah.
that these are clues that Huggy will come
And
back.
then-
I am still Team Huggy will return, but I think these two are actually the Huggy models from Project Playtime,
Yeah.
so it's either a glitch or a clue, you can decide. But this isn't the only running joke in the teaser
Just
trailer.
curb stomped
Dog
Huggy.
Day seems to be the character in this series that always has bad luck. This trailer was the hint towards what happened to Dog Day in Chapter 3, and now we see once again that the smaller Dog Day is also having a bad day. But this in
Yeah.
itself is a joke. Dog Days is a phrase that became known to mean days of misfortune. The dog days are over, meaning that every streak of bad luck eventually ends. I mean, you know what they say, every dog has his day. But knowing Playtime Co, this one probably won't. But back in the rubbish room, we have yet more hidden clues. In the back of the room, if you look very carefully, you can see that Catnap's gas, the red smoke, is being pumped into this room. Now, this could be a clue that these toys were thrown down here and then kept sedated by the gas so that they could be incinerated. But it's also terrifying to think that these toys were being eaten alive in their sleep.
What if, just throwing this out here, I was saying in my theory that that sheep, you think Catnap, yeah, absolutely had the red smoke to get people to go to sleep, but sheep are also normally tied to sleep. Like, you know, you count sheep. What if the red smoke doesn't affect the sheep? Like, they can't sleep. Just another thing to throw out there.
This room really does feel like a feeding pit, something else we saw in Project Playtime. But over in the background, we can see yet another hidden clue. Over by the box, we can see a bunch of these small dots that look like eyes. Now, you might think these are just dust particles or something, but they don't show up anywhere else in this room, only over here in the shadows. Now, these actually line up with what we see on Amber's drawing, eyes in the dark. Definitely a tease.
Yeah, I don't like all these little... I wish these were specks of dust and not eyes. But I have a very unsettling feeling that these are eyes. He is correct.
Line up with what we see on Amber's drawing, eyes in the dark. Definitely a tease to something, and since we see that there is a new smiling critter we haven't seen before, I think this is a clue that there will be more. Another interesting little detail comes in the boxes we see around the teaser. This one has Poland written on it very clearly, and then this scrap of box has
Does it?
NAIR, possibly meaning Nairobi, the capital of Kenya. Now, we've already seen Germany and Russia referenced in previous VHS tapes, so I think this is a subtle hint that Playtime Co was more of a global company than we thought. It would make sense that Playtime Co would want to sell their toys in other countries, and these big boxes could even be hints towards shipping containers. The implications here could be huge. These toy experiments might be spread out all over the world. And it also ties into a theory that I haven't released yet about Playtime Co possibly having other factories or locations around the globe. But there was also a clue with this Dog Day that I haven't seen anyone talk about. The fact that this Dog Day had a Playtime Co tag, something we haven't seen on any of the other living smiling critters so far. This implies that this doll in
It's
particular
gonna be
was
sold.
supposed to be sold. I think this is our biggest clue that the experiments continued far after the factory closed. Why would Playtime Co use one of the retail dolls as part of the transfer process? So far, we have assumed that every
Maybe
living
it's
doll
all
was
they
kept
had
inside
left.
the factory, kept a secret from most of the staff. It seems like whoever was running these experiments ran out of dolls. That would only happen after the factory stopped production. Our biggest clue that someone here is still carrying out the scientific process. In fact, if you want my guess, I think that Sawyer has been carrying out more experiments down here since the factory fell.
Probably.
But without power, he couldn't make any more dolls and he couldn't leave. Power that we just restored for him. I now wonder if the reason why 1006 was trying so hard to stop us was to stop us from opening this door and freeing Sawyer, something Poppy has pushed us towards doing. But this could also be a hint that some of these living dolls have been shipped outside of the factory, possibly even setting up a future game. Now, one thing I can't quite figure out is this pair of eyes in the background. These are looking directly at the camera and they don't quite seem to look like any of the toys we've seen so far.
I don't know how he sees some of this stuff.
These ones seem much more realistic. Honestly, they really remind me of Robbie the Rabbit from Silent Hill. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but take a look for yourself. It definitely looks like something is hiding in there to me. There is also one small detail that I found odd. We see Dog Day get very excited after finding these remains of Bobby before chowing down. But notice how he passed several toy corpses on the way. Some of them are even shown to be full of blood, so I think this is a hint that these dolls need to consume fresh kills. This would make sense. The living parts of these toys would likely decay or rot like any dead creature would. But that does bring into question just how immortal these toys are. Maybe this is a hint that the bigger bodies would eventually die as their living components failed. Perhaps the transfer process would need to take place multiple times in order to achieve true immortality. But knowing that 1006 doesn't require sustenance, perhaps this is another clue as to why Harley was interrogating him. Again, this is very close to something that Fox just made, so go check out that video. I will leave a link in the description below. Either way, I think this teaser is hinting that Chapter 4 is going to be the darkest one yet, and I'm excited to see the full trailer to see if my Boxy theory is correct. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to subscribe. I will have plenty more
He's definitely got a point as far as like Dog Day did pass a lot of the other toys. What confuses me to a degree is he went for the Bobby, started chowing down on him, but there was the sheep right there. Maybe he didn't see it because the sheep is a dark color, it's in shadows, fair enough. But if they need the freshest kill, which I do agree with, why not take out the one that hasn't even been touched yet? There's a lot to think about, and there's a lot to go through with these theories. I definitely cannot wait to see more trailers coming out. I cannot wait for certain characters to be revealed to figure out who's behind all this. I'm very excited. So, with that, don't know what button I just pressed. With that, I'm going to go digging a bit more, and I'll be back to you guys with another theory later. Again, just a reaction to Tericho's video. You want to see his video for yourself without me pausing and playing it, please go and check out his video. I will link it up somewhere on the screen, and I will link it down in the description. So a huge shout out to Tericho for his videos. Go and check all of them out. Sheep Rampage is another really good one. I've watched a couple of his. He is cameoed in this. Definitely recommend going and checking out his videos. But yes, everybody's very excited for the next chapter, and I agree. I think Mob Games is just going to get darker and darker with this. The fact that we've now seen Dog Day start nibbling on another toy and then being attacked and chewed on by yet another toy, and then these piles and piles of bodies. Don't get me wrong, in the Chapter 3 trailer, the kids screaming was terrifying enough, but this is adding a visual level to these toys, like cannibalizing each other to survive. Mob Games is just going further and further with this, and I cannot wait to see how far they take it. So go check out Tericho's videos, throw him a subscribe, comment on his videos, comment down below what your theories are on this. I want to hear what you guys have, and I will hopefully be working on some more theory videos, a bit more of a deep dive, to show you guys what we've come up with. But thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye!